Adelia Pimentel. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. You are very brave for being here. And
Thanks.
I met Adelia yesterday over at Marisol's, and we discussed this. And she was overwhelmingly nervous, as you probably are now. But you'll get over it.
Yeah, my heart's pounding out of my chest right now.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Adelia, you knew as a young person, we discussed it, that you had the anxiety issues. But then you said it really, really came through after you gave birth for your first child.
Yeah.
How did just go about like how you noticed it and the progress of the postpartum, or if you want to start back at when you were a kid and you started noticing it a little bit. How did you feel about the anxiety then, and then as opposed to then after having given birth and it progressed?
Well, like as a kid, I thought I was just kind of weird. I was just like, I knew it wasn't normal, but I was raised, we didn't really like go to the doctors for things or take medicine for things. So I just kept it all kind of inside. But I think once I had my first child, I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Some of the first signs that I found myself doing, I did like a lot of like rituals, paranoid rituals, where I would constantly make sure the doors were locked at night, make sure that the oven was shut off at night. I would constantly like pace at night, and I would have a really hard time sleeping. I'd be up for hours and hours. And I actually, during the insomnia, which is a symptom of anxiety disorder, I caught this infomercial. It was about like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and this was when I was 19, so it was a long time ago. And they started talking about the real people talking about their stories on TV about the symptoms that I was relating to, such as going to the grocery store, being around a lot of people with a lot of things going on, loud sounds, just in a very overwhelming environment. It would trigger that for them. They would get the hot flashes. They would get the tingling in their fingers and their toes. Me personally, my tongue starts to tingle. My heart starts beating, racing out of my chest. And then I start to shallow breathing. I experienced a very shallow breathing, and I've actually gone to the point where I've hyperventilated and passed out. So when I saw that infomercial, and I was like, man, that's me, and that's me. Like everything they were saying, different people, different stories. I called up my doctor and I said, I didn't tell her that I thought I had anxiety. I told her that, like what I was feeling, and she was like, yeah, that's anxiety and panic disorder. You're probably going through some postpartum. And at that point, she said, I'm going to refer you to a counselor, and we're going to get you started on some antidepressants.
How did you feel about the antidepressants at the time? I mean, you were 19, it was a different time now.
Yeah.
Back then, things were a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably weren't as opposed to it as you'd probably be now, but you were just like, okay, well, let's take it, or?
Yeah, we didn't have the research that we have now. I wasn't.
We had dial-up and AOL back then.
Yeah. So I was just like, all right, you're the doctor, you know best, and I'm not against medication.
Yeah.
Because you know what? When you get to that point in your life, you'll do anything. You'll do anything to get back to the person you were, so you can, take care of your family, take care of yourself, and get going on with your life. So, and it actually, it worked out along with counseling. It worked out at that time.
Yeah. So how many counselors did it take for you to, because that's something that I'd probably have an issue with. I have spoken to counselors in the past. I think I was in high school when I did. I was diagnosed with ADHD too, and I have anger issues, but nobody needs to know that.
Well, that's the Portuguese thing.
Yeah, right.
Don't we all?
And I spoke to a counselor, and to be honest with you, the first time I spoke to one person, I was like, man, I can't go back there. Like, I got angry talking. Like, you know what I mean? Certain people don't mesh. Did you experience that? Did you find that, I don't like this person, and I need to find somebody else to talk to? Because that's something that, the reason why I'm asking is, through research for this topic, a lot of people give up after their first counselor.
Yeah.
because they don't. Oh, I can't talk to this dude. They're all the same, and you know, they didn't give it a second chance or try a different counselor. Did it work the first time for you? Like that first counselor?
No. The first time didn't work for me. The second time didn't work for me, and I was just like, okay. I kind of did my own research, and I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, if I'm just gonna give up. So, you know, it was 3 strikes are out for me.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to find, you know, Mark Savino, who was a licensed social worker, right on Brigham Street. And he's amazing because, like, of course we would talk about, he wanted to get to know me at first as a first time patient. And, you know, see where I come from and, you know, things like that. But what we mostly focus on, because I think people are nervous about that. I think people are, you know, like, oh, he's going to judge me or he's going to tell me this and he doesn't even know me. But what Mark really, honed in on were the cognitive skills, how to deal with the panic attacks, how to control them, how to keep them under control. You know, we built plans on how to get my life back together and just to give me back my control. And, you know. At
that time, when you say control, you and I spoke yesterday, stuff that people that don't suffer from this can't even fathom. Going places a certain time to avoid traffic, not going to certain places at all because there's too many people, and loud noises and new people and all that stuff. Like, people like me, like, I'm just a big mouth, like, I like that. Like, you know what I mean? I'll throw me in the crowd, you know? So I don't get it. But, like, when you said that yesterday, I said, wow, like, that must be difficult. And then I said, oh my gosh, I'm having her meet me at Mirasol's at 2 o'clock in the, you know, whatever time we were there till. I'm like, gosh, she's going to hit school traffic. Like, I felt guilty after. I was like, should I follow her home? And, you know, people don't realize that, you know.
It's hard. I mean, every day you're literally fighting just to be normal. Like, but it is what it is. You got to keep going because I have really bad days, but then I have some really awesome days. And I just, like, make sure that I'm like, today's an awesome day. Tomorrow might not be so good, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'll wait when that comes. And I'll just, you know, just bask in it, the good days.
It's just like anything, you know, anybody that has any ailment, they, like, people need to just think that, like, hey, my knee hurts today, or my back hurts today, or it doesn't hurt today. And they need to realize that, like, not you realize that. But people in general with a stigma of mental illness, and we need to be more accepting of it as a society and understand it more as a society. And hopefully that's what we're getting to with this show. And the reason why we're getting to it is because it deals with a lot more. Like, we blame drug addiction, which is not tied in with mental illness. I've been doing research on it. We blame guns for people that go do mass shootings when it's not that. It's not the they're going to do it one way or the other. They're going to create devastation. I understand their side of it with the gun thing. I don't want to get into guns or not, but there's a big issue in America, and we need to destigmatize it and look into it and be more accepting of it and have people say, hey, it's okay, like, you're good, you're like me. And have people come out of the, not closet so much, but out of the dark, out of the shadows, and go get the help they need, and have families be supportive. Now, you and I touched upon that a little bit because we do have the Portuguese pride thing. I know people in my family that I'm not a clinician, but I'd bet a check that they have some sort of mental illness, and nobody speaks of that.
No, you don't even take Tylenol for headaches when you just suffer.
You suffer, you know what I mean?
Which is not a bad thing.
But
that's just how
you're pushing aside symptoms.
Exactly.
Like, if you're sick, you're sick. And cultures like the Portuguese culture especially, I know from experience, pushes this aside. You found that to be the same in your family?
Yeah,
is it still currently that way, or like do you have family members like that? Just,
I think now it's more accepting. Because I've been going through this for almost 10 years, and I'm just like, dude, this is what it is. Like, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the only one out of my other 2 siblings. They're like what's going on? Like, what is this? Like, they don't understand. But you know, they've been very supportive, which I'm like really lucky about that. They don't understand, but they're just being supportive. I feel like now people are talking more about it. Like they're like, you can go and you can tell your mom, hey, listen, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. I feel like I can't catch my breath. I feel shaky when I wake up in the morning, and I don't know why. I feel like it's a little better now, but we definitely need to get even more comfortable with it, because I feel like even men, especially men, actually.
Yeah, I think there's a pride thing with a bravado thing with men.
Yeah, they don't talk about it easily. No. They refuse to go seek help because they think it's a sign of weakness or a sign of just not being a man.
No, it's a sign of weakness. Yeah, my friend for years hid behind it, and I told you this yesterday. We finally got him help, and then when he was diagnosed with what he was diagnosed with, he made a joke to me yesterday because we were talking about it. He goes, "Man, I still remember you looking at me and saying, yeah, you need another doctor. You need a second opinion because, that's my best friend. Nah, he's good. I know he's all right, And I didn't see, man, he was sick. And now that I've researched, because I love him, I've taken the time to research to try to understand him, to try to help them and try to be there for him. Man, I'll never understand him. And that your siblings will never understand you fully. And that's what people got to accept also. But I'm supportive of him. I was on the phone with him this morning. I was on the phone with him yesterday. And that's all I want to do for him. And that's all I want family members to do. And that's, part of having someone that looks like you. You don't look like anything but a normal average woman from New Bedford that has children, And we'd walk right by you and say, but you suffer from this. You've actually had a car accident, you told me, because you had a panic attack. Like, it happens. It's we got to normalize it and just take away the stigma. I could keep going. Isaiah, looking sharp, buddy.
Thank you.
Isaiah, each week, he's my co-host, student of my former student of my wife's, little brother to me nowadays. Each week he contributes with his questions. And what do you got for Ms. Pimentel?
Aside from medication, what do you think are the best methods of treatment toward mental illness?
I would say would be the cognitive skills, learning breathing techniques. Breathing in through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, and breathe out. Exhale through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat it, because it actually brings the oxygen back to your brain.
Yeah.
Because when you're hyperventilating, your blood tries to get to the most important organs of your body to keep you alive, but the other parts are like, yeah, cool, you can just pass out. No worries, you'll be alive. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So I would say the cognitive skills. I would also say exercise.
These kids are always, each week, you take one of my questions from me. Slowly, he's trying to take over my show. Sorry to interrupt, but him and I got a personal beef here.
I don't know. He's pretty good.
He is pretty good. He is pretty good. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Adelia.
No, and that's all I would say exercise,
Yeah.
Bye.
Now, we also discussed this yesterday. Thanks for stealing my question, by the way. I'm going to have to talk to Mr. DeMello about him and I. Again, Craig DeMello, thank you for all you do. Craig's one of our great educators in the New Bedford system, and I try to praise him every time I'm on the show, because he takes the time to go out of his way on his time off to help students like Isaiah to get his questions, correct. But last week, Isaiah freestyled and he kicked butt. So I don't know.
This is
Craig.
a pretty good one.
Yeah, that was excellent. Isaiah's a very intelligent young man. He looks pretty sharp tonight too. It's my boy right there. The next part of my question, he hit most of it, but was dieting. Yesterday it was kind of funny. It's a little side story. When she first walked in, I waved at her. She sat down, and you look like a deer in traffic. I was like, deer in headlights. Excuse me.
I felt like it.
And you were breathing heavy, and I just finished telling your husband the story, and I said, "Man, I gotta get up." Like I was talking to her, and I could tell like you were a little bit uncomfortable. Like I was like, so I'm like, "All right, let me go get her a drink." So we're at Mirasol's, and what do? I go get her a chippy.
A caffeine drink.
I just load her up with caffeine. which was kind of stupid when I left. I went, man, this poor girl was hyperventilating. I hit her with a chippy.
Yeah, that's all right.
Now, does your diet affect? Because after the chippy, you seem fine. So I don't know. I can't tell. But I would assume that, it was probably a bad thing. Do you notice like certain things you have to stay away from that trigger your...
There's actually a few studies. A professional that I talked to said that he doesn't he's never heard or seen the correlation from your diet to what's happening with your anxiety or the mental illness. But there's actually studies now, because I've been doing my own research for a little while, and I would say in the past 3 or 4 years, and anyone can look it up, they call your intestines, your stomach, your second brain, because what you put into your body, it's going to affect everything: your nervous system, your energy level, your brain. So what I suggest and what I do for me, I stay away from sugar as much as possible. I keep everything in moderation, but sugar I have with a decaf coffee. And that's the only time I have sugar. Carbs, I don't eat a lot of bread, which is hard for me because I'm Portuguese. I enjoy my popsicle, you know what I'm saying? But, so...
I'm married to Miss Carbohydrate, so it's tough for me to diet as well.
Yeah, it's easy for me to stay away from carbs because I just know how it's going to make me feel. It makes me feel hungover, and then, like, immediately almost after. I thought I was diabetic, but I had gone to the doctor so many times, I got blood work done, and I was completely fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, I talked to a friend of yours, Dave Eaton.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, we spoke today. You were his... I don't know what to call it, student of the month, I guess.
He put a spotlight student of the month.
Spotlight
he does
student
it
of the month
yeah.
over at South Coast Krav Maga. Now, I make jokes about your height because you brought it up, so now I said, all right, she doesn't.
I give you permission.
Yeah, but
It's
you
all
brought it
good.
up, so you're like, all right, so now I just jump on it. But 4'11", and you're kicking butt over at Krav Maga. And I talked to David, and he said, man, she walked in, and she was quiet. And she did her thing for a couple weeks, and now she just kicks butt. And if he didn't spotlight you, he would have never known your story. But he did say that he's noticed throughout the weeks that your confidence, and he just attributed it to your learning. So, he didn't realize that you were this nervous of a person with anxiety, that you've moved on and you just kick butt now. And you mentioned exercise. Was an organized exercise and like something like that where you're doing some self-defense stuff, and just did that really bring out some more confidence in you? Did it help your anxiety at all, or?
Yeah, I definitely. I've actually been thinking about doing Krav Maga when their old location was on Church Street. But I passed by it a million times. I'm like, I don't know anyone. I don't want to go there by myself. And
yeah, all the typical stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never even been a part of a team. I didn't play sports growing up. I didn't do any martial arts or anything like that. I'm like, man, this is kind of, I don't know if I want to do this. But anyway, so it took me a while. And then, I had talked to my counselor about it. I'm like, hey, listen, I think I might be able to benefit from this. He said, it's not going to cure you. I don't want you to go there and think, oh, wow, I'm cured. But if you think that that's what's going to help you, whatever it takes, just, do it. And then a few months later, a friend of mine messaged me. She's like, hey, there's this place on called Krav Maga on Tarkin Hill. And I was like, yeah, I know that place. She's like, they're doing a female fitness challenge. She's like, you should do it. And because she was doing it, shout out to Shannon.
Yeah, she got you going.
Because I had somebody there, it made it feel so much better. And plus, you know what? When I got there, all the chicks were so cool. Dave was super awesome, super nice. Every class was different. I couldn't get bored if I wanted to. I didn't miss a single class. It was 6 weeks, and I was there every single time because now I feel like at the moment I'm not seeing my counselor anymore. The Krav Maga has become my therapy. When I'm there, I don't think about it. I don't need to think about it. I don't think about anything else. And also the techniques that we have worked on that I've learned when I'm out with my kids. I got into that car accident because I hyperventilated and I passed out. I lost control. after that, I was like, I feel scared. If I pass out again in public with my kids, who's gonna help me? Who's gonna protect us? Like, who's gonna protect my kids if I'm out of commission? You know. So now I go out in public with my kids, and I almost have like a backup plan. If I see something like or someone like circling us or like just being suspicious, I'm like, I'm gonna roundhouse kid. I'm gonna like send a nice palm heel right to his nose, you know. Like,
you built the confidence about you.
Yes, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been huge for me. In the past year, my husband sees the difference. My family sees the difference. I feel good too. You know, it's helped me a lot.
I'm glad you just brought that up. You just segued into our next question, topic with in concern with that. Your husband, otherwise known as your Xanax, as you called him yesterday. He's outside. He
in
came in today. He's a Marine, a New Bedford police officer, a veteran, and a good husband. I met him for the past 5 minutes. He's personable as all hell. He seems like a good dude, a guy I'd love to have a beer with. He supported you. You've had 2 kids since your first.
Yep.
And he's been there the whole time, and he actually pushed you to do this. Come on, and he helped push this. Yeah. And him and I talked, and we both think that this would be your first step to just like another level of getting through this anxiety that you deal with.
Yeah. You got to do the things that you're scared about.
Yeah.
Even though when you're
and I asked you, we're going to get to that too. I asked you to do something else tonight, and you were like, yeah, let's do it. Your husband, what does he do for you?
He's my security blanket. He's my best friend. I know it sounds corny, but it's
not corny.
Man, there's no one else on this earth, and I've told this to him, would ever go beyond the way he's gone. He's never been frustrated with me. He's never, we don't get into fights. He doesn't act. He's never been through it. He's never had a panic attack. He's never experienced, anxiety on a daily basis. But he's just there for me. He hugs me randomly. He tells me how much he loves me. Tells me how beautiful I am. He's like my biggest cheerleader. He's awesome. He's an amazing human being, and I'm very lucky.
I got one of those at home too, just the female version. And she's not a sniper. She's pretty good at trap shooting, but she wasn't a Marine sniper. So,
yeah.
Guys, she may be little, but she'll hit you with a roundhouse, and her husband can touch you from like 1,500 yards away. So be careful.
Yeah. So if you come at me, your first lesson of Krav Maga will be free.
Yeah. And her husband probably won't let her get close to you anyway. So he's out there with a scope somewhere. Yeah. What's the last thing? We went through the diet. Oh, your support group. I wanted to touch upon your support group. Now, you went out and you're doing stuff like this, which is cool. Like, I started this show. I don't know what the heck I thought was going to happen with it. I really didn't. And now that I have this platform, I discuss with the people, and I'm a very religious man, and I try to be a man of God, and God didn't put me in this position without trying to help. Like, it'd be a waste. Yeah. The way I feel. And here you are, I bring you up, and then you start, and you get your own problems, but then you go and you start a group for supporting other people. How's that going? What made you start it? Was it part of your own therapy? Just go through that.
Yeah, sure. I've been wanting to start it for a few years, but the whole stigma, people just like, oh yeah, that chick's crazy. I knew she was crazy. Yeah, I am crazy, but it's not because I have anxiety or panic.
No, you're a Portuguese girl.
I'm anyway, Portuguese.
Go ahead.
It's a given. But no.
My shout out to my best friend Matt, who loved Portuguese girls and their craziness.
Yeah. It's like bread in a pop sec.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
Yeah.
So the group, does it help you? Does it?
For me. I started it up, I think, around August. My husband being a police officer, I hear a lot about what people don't hear about.
Yeah.
And one thing, because he knows I'm very passionate about it, is the suicides. I don't get any names. I don't get any personal stuff. He just comes home and he's like, yeah, there was 3 attempts and there was 1 successful. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
In one day. And I'm like... I heard about this young girl And she was a new mom. She had a baby. This happened sometime last year, I believe. I'm sorry, this past summer. And I'm just like, why did she feel so alone? Why did she feel that she couldn't turn to anyone? You know, there's got to be a way, even if maybe she's had friends that kind of brushed her off, or I don't know, and I can't speak on her behalf, but maybe she would have felt comfortable going on a page like this. And we do have resources. We do have a list of resources in New Bedford or in the locally, where you can get in contact with someone who can help you, or even just message me. You know, I'm not going to be biased. I don't know you. I just know what I've experienced. And man, if it was around, and maybe she would have like reached out, and she, a little girl wouldn't have been motherless. You know, it just broke my heart. And I've been in that dark place where you feel like the people around you would just be better off without you, because you feel like you're not contributing. Through the depression, you just. And the panic attacks, it takes so much energy out of you. Sometimes I couldn't even get up to just, clean the kitchen counter. It takes a lot. Like that adrenaline completely, just overtaking your body. And when the adrenaline's gone, you're exhausted. So, I mean, I feel like if there was more people that had support, I'm lucky. I have my husband, I have my siblings, I have my parents, I have my in-laws. They're extremely supportive, but there's people out there that don't feel like they have that. And maybe if she would have reached out to me like this, it wouldn't be the situation it turned out to be. Because I know what it's like to be there. I know what it's like to be in that dark place.
My best friend's worst enemy is loneliness. And that's I think that's what a lot of people that deal with depression and anxiety, and well, not anxiety so much, because you were like the opposite, like get away from me. You don't want to go to the busy places, but and I hope that people know that there's resources. We're gonna post them up. I'm gonna post your group up. And again, I mean, I've said this with domestic violence, opioid addiction, any topics, breast cancer awareness that we did that show, just email me at Chris@NewBedford Guide, and I'm forming a pretty good team over here of people that'll help you. Anything that I can help you with, I'll make sure. If you got a problem, I'll find out how to help you. I mean, that's today's goal, was to get somebody help, and we had this brave young woman come out and just normalize it. She came out of her comfort zone to make people see that normal people have it. Like, you just walk by her, she doesn't look like the crazy cat lady. You know what I mean?
I am.
Yeah. But it's.
I love my cats.
Yeah. I'm not a cat guy, so you and I are off to.
Well, I'm an animal person.
I'm an animal person too.
I got a dog and 2 cats. I just love animals.
I'll just keep a bulldog and a Rottie. That's it. That's all I need.
You're missing out.
I had a cat, man. They're just plotting to kill you the whole time they're in existence.
No, they're like, my cats are more like dogs. Oh, I love them.
But you came out of your comfort zone, and she'll be here to help you. You just heard it. She formed this group for people that need help. So if you're out there and you're watching, and you feel like you have any type of mental health problems, anxiety, depression, suicide, there's people out there that'll listen, man. You're normal. I mean, it's just like people with bad backs, or people, like I said, like, you're not just sick from here down and crazy from up here up. You're sick, and there's help. And there's people out there that'll help you. And I promise you, if you email me or email the show or get in touch with Adelia, she'll send you the proper place. We got a couple people out there that have some comments. Christina Agia, great job, Adelia.
Aw, thank you.
Kaya K. Madera, she's doing a great job. I hope she's not nervous or uncomfortable. I can tell you one thing, she's nervous. Her hands, I don't even know how, she's probably got no epidermis on her palms right now. She's been rubbing them suckers the whole show. But you're doing a great job.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody's just saying you're a good job, bunch of thumbs up. You, after meeting with you yesterday, and after my recent phone calls with my best friend about how he told me like it was one of the hardest things for him to do is to admit to a new person that he's sick, and then you made that, it's like, man, coming out and let people know that like I have this, it's embarrassing almost. It's the pride issue, and there are people who are not getting help, and they're putting it off because of these feelings of being embarrassed by it or not being understood. So I drove home, and like this show, I don't know what the hell happened to me. I think like I'm a superhero now. I'm gonna put on a different cape every show. I said, what can I do to take people and not make them feel that way? So I was going through faces in New Bedford, and I thought, man, we could do something like this. And I'm gonna start a new campaign here in Greater New Bedford through New Bedford Guide. We're gonna hashtag it I Am Mental Health. And we're going to do like a Faces of New Bedford. And we're going to have a little story about that person. It's going to be a normal photo of a person that you're going to walk by every day. And that person is going to have mental illness of some sort. And they're going to explain a little blurb about themselves. And the goal is to take away the stigma of it. And each week we're going to have this on the New Bedford Guide and on my show or whatever. It doesn't even have to be attached to me. I don't care, but I want it to go through. I'm going to reach out to South Coast Hospital, see if they want to be a partner in this program, which I'm sure Pete's been a great asset with us over at the South Coast Hospitals. And Adelia, before the show, I told the story. She thought it was a good idea, and she's agreed to be the first one. So as soon as we get that started, seriously, shout out to you, man. It's incredible that, you came here, and then I'm like, all right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put plaster your face everywhere on top of it.
I know.
And you're just like, okay,
But,
which is awesome. I
yeah.
mean, that's, you're moving along.
Like,
just think of the progress you made doing that, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of you, I'm happy that you're part of the team now. And just like everyone in the past that's been on the show, like, you're part of the team now. We're going to make, you're going to start your own thing with this. And I want you to be part of this. Like, each person that comes on, hey, go speak to Adelia. She'll set you up.
Yeah. And you know what? I also, if I could just add one thing.
Do whatever you want. You got the show, man.
I get a lot of private messages in that group from members that are like, hey, listen, this is what I'm going through. Can you refer someone? This is what I'm going through. What do you think? Or, and I shoot them. We try to put as many references on there as we can. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I don't have degrees in anything.
But you're an expert.
I've been there, and I keep in touch with a lot of other people who have been through a lot of the things that you might be going through, and so I can set you up with that person. And I just feel like I also want people to know that I take this very serious. Like whatever you message me, it goes to the grave with me. Like I take this very serious, and I know what it's like to feel like you're in a dark place, you're embarrassed. It's not easy to come out. I will take it to the grave with me. You have my Scout's honor. Like I take it very serious. Message me anytime, even if you just want to talk. Like, hey, listen, I've been feeling this way. Like, I just to have a conversation with them. Sometimes they just need to feel like someone is there and cares. I'm there. I'll be there.
That's awesome. When it's amazing to me that everybody that's been on the shows goes through so much, and each of you have something in common. You're just ready to all right, let me give. When you're still dealing with it. We have Jen that was still getting over domestic violence. We have Ashley who's doing the same. And they were like, hey, message me. And then, women did message us, and we did get them help. And then Kevin came on and talked about his issues with drugs, and people messaged me. He got in beds. And then Shayla came on talking about cancer, and people went out and got screens, and I got messages saying, you know what, I'm going to do something. And now you're on, and you're dealing with this yourself, and you're coming way out of your comfort zone to do this. Like, here's my face, everybody.
Yeah.
And you're willing to help people, and that's, you're part of, like, I've been so lucky to have people like you on the show. It's like making the show excellent because I have people that are willing to give when they've already given themselves, you know, and it's awesome. I appreciate that.
I just know what it's like. It sucks. I just know what it's like. And I can't let anyone else kind of feel like they're in it alone. And I hate hearing the devastating stories about attempted suicide, successful suicide. Like it breaks my heart because it doesn't have to be that way. You know, if it wasn't for my support team, my faith in God, that dark place could have just like sucked me in like the black hole, and I wouldn't be here today. And I'm thankful I didn't get to that point because I'm doing so great now. Like it does get better. It does get better.
We got one last question, but I don't know if you can answer it. If not, we are going to list. I actually stole it from your page, all the links and numbers.
Sure, yeah.
We're going to post those after. But Carl Fernandez asks, is there any support for parents that deal with children who have mental health issues that you know of? Like support for the parent themselves that are dealing with it with their children.
Yes, I do believe that Child and Family Services offers those services to families, you know.
Awesome. Well, Adelia, thank you for many things tonight. Thank you for helping. You helped somebody out there tonight. I guarantee you helped a few people out there tonight. Thank you for agreeing to start off I Am Mental Health. And thank you for being part of the team.
Thank you.
We're going to lean on you. I am definitely going to call you or message you, whatever, and just so that way we can stay in touch and we can, you know, help out people and get that group going some more and have people really come out of the shadows and deal with this head on and just say, hey, man, it's normal. Let me just get my help that I need.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.